coming to you guys exactly 12 hours later than what was scheduled today because I'm an idiot and I scheduled it for 8:35 this morning instead of 8:35 tonight. So it was rescheduled for 8:40 tonight. I hope you guys enjoy the podcast today.
Step in the ring, feel the adrenaline rush, going fists and kicks, the pain we can't hush, and then they fight us, we're the real tough guys, breaking down barriers, we aim for the skies, into the octagon, like a warrior I stand, slaying blows, taking hits as I command, the art of combat, I'm ready to go, submission, knockout, that's how I flow, unleashing the fury like an untamed beast, locked in a cage where strength is released, striking precision, grappling with my golden octagon, the stage we ignite. Unleashing the fury like an untamed beast, locked in a cage where strength is released, striking precision, grappling like a golden octagon, the stage we ignite.
And we are live. Welcome to the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast with your hosts, Matt and D Rose.
And yes, welcome to the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast. My name is Matt. D Rose is on that side of your screen, and this week the D Rose stands for Dodge Durango. Hopefully y'all are all having a fantastic week. Hopefully you all had a fantastic weekend. Hopefully you aren't too sad about fights this past weekend. But on today's show, let you guys know what's going to happen. We are going to recap this past weekend's UFC 308. Somebody is going to be eating some beans. It ain't one. It ain't two. It's three because somebody got clean swept this week, and it wasn't me. Then we got some UFC fight news and announcements to go over. And then lastly, we'll be covering this upcoming weekend's fights in Canada. UFC Fight Night, I think it's Alberta. Brandon Moreno versus Amir Albazi. Me and D Rose are going to give you our picks and our preview for all of that good jazz. But before we get into it, as you guys see, the background special one this week, it's because it is Aaron Blanchfield Fight Week, and we do have the Aaron Blanchfield #1 fan. So because Aaron Blanchfield's fighting, it's going up there. So with that being said, D Rose, before we get in the chat, how have you been, man? How have you been over the past week or so, my guy?
No, things have been great. And I was able to, if people were wondering, I was able to watch most of the fights, but I was able to watch all of the main event. So I was able to watch it from beginning to end without any disruption. I actually had a customer at the time that it was happening, but I had them on a test drive, and literally they got back like at the end of I think it was at the end of the second round, and I already had the other car waiting with the tag on it. So literally as soon as they got back, I just handed them one more key so they could drive that car. So I timed it out perfectly, was able to watch the whole fight. And as disappointing as it was, definitely delivered. But I was able to watch the fight. And that's what I was most happy about this past weekend, because my bets didn't hit, and neither did my NFL one. So, yeah, I was definitely a donator to FanDuel this week. Let's say that.
Yeah, I agree. So let's get into the chat. Up first, we got Austin in here. What's up, everyone? Happy Wednesday. We're almost through another abysmal week. I'm sorry to hear that, Austin. I hope your week gets better, my guy. I appreciate you for stopping by here and hanging out with us tonight. Dave in here saying, my man out there like Tatsu Tyrar with a dual auto card. I'm happy. Thank you. Yeah, the rest, I got a sick card the other day. It was a dual autograph, Diego Lopez and Alexa Grasso. Pretty stoked for that. Dave wants Panini back. Kia Forte.
You did.
Sugar Ray is welcoming home D Rose. Just got into the guards. Opened my first 4 packs. Retail 4 packs from my retail box. Had like what? I'm not sure what your question is, my guy. I'm not sure. Oh, okay, there it is. Only had 2 cards. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's probably that's something that just happens. I assume one of your other packs had way more cards in it. But Aaron Blanchfield's nose should be included in their tail of the tape for reach. That's messed up. That's messed up, D-Rez. How do you let your boy do that?
Hey, that's Hey, I can't argue with the facts. I can't argue with the facts. That thing is, she does have a honker on her. You can call her Toucan Samantha.
Yeah. And with that being said, let's get into it. UFC 308 happened this past weekend, headlined by Max Holloway and Ilia Topuria. And dude, before we really get into the fights as a whole, I want to point out that my picks for the 13 fights in total, I picked correctly on 11 out of the 13 fights. Guess how many bets I won, though?
No.
0. It doesn't make any sense, dude. It's just like, dude, Miktabik just literally just fisted my asshole. Not even gonna lie, dude. That's what I feel like happened. My face felt like it looked like his after that fight, dude. It ruined all my shit. And it's like, if I would have chased, I would have hit, but I was just like, no, like I don't even care, because like, what are the odds of Ilia knocking out Max, Hamzat subbing Rob? Like, that's what I picked to happen. That's what I think is going to happen. But what are the odds of it actually happening? Damn if it shit don't happen, dude. Just heartbreaking, to be honest. But let's get into UFC 308. Ilia versus Max, dude. And yeah, dude, Ilia, 3rd round knockout, a minute into the 3rd round, or like a minute left in the 3rd round. One of the two. It was in the 3rd round. I had multiple bets for this to happen round 1, 2, or 3. And yeah, I knew Max had never been knocked out, but I guess I saw it a while back that Ilia's got this power that no one at 145 has, dude. And it doesn't matter. He knows that he has it, and he knows that if he touches you once, you can go out, dude. And we saw it for the first time this past weekend. Ilia put out Max. I not want to say out cold, but he definitely dropped him, landed some ground and pound. It was a solid finish.
The ground and pound put him out cold. The ground and pound put him out cold. He definitely went out for a second. Yeah,
and I think when I knew that this fight was going to end up going this way, dude, is I think in the 1st round, I saw Ilia land one solid punch, and I don't think I've ever seen Max back up a few steps and be like you can visibly see him exhale, like, what the fuck was that? Like, this is going to be tougher than what I thought, dude. And from that point on, I was like, it's just a matter of time until Ilia knocks him out. But I don't want to spend too much time. I'll get your take on the main event, man. I'll pass it to you.
Yeah, no, I thought it was one of the reasons why, I was so looking forward to the fight is just because obviously we know Max's grand chin, and then we know the power that Topuria just comes with, and the way he's just been putting everybody out. And the fight ended up living up to the hype in terms of, I thought Max really showed a good level of boxing against Topuria at certain times, because there were moments where Topuria was lighting him up, but man, Max was lighting Topuria up a couple of times, and he got him with a couple of good 1-2s, was ripping to the body. Max was really working those oblique kicks, and I did think that he was giving Topuria a little bit of a problem, but I did think Topuria was able to kind of work in combos. And even if Max was able to block some of the punches, it's just the sheer force that just comes from those punches that Ilia throws that just ends up it just looks like it's more damage to the judges. So I thought Max had won the 1st round. I know one of the judges did as well. The other 2 had Ilia winning the first 2 rounds, but it doesn't matter what the judges think whenever it's Ilia Topuria fighting, because he's not going to let it go to the judges, man. That dude is a finishing machine. I know we were messaging about it the other day, but dude, this credit to Josh Emmett for actually going 5 rounds against Topuria, and he got 10-7 in one round and came back and won the next round. Just absolutely crazy to think about for Josh Emmett. But man, Topuria just absolute dynamite in his hands. And man, for him to knock out Max like that, it was definitely heartbreaking to watch. It's just watching one of the legends fall like that. Seeing Max hurt when he was kind of doing the ducking and evading, I was like, okay, Max, there we go. He's feeling it. But once Topuria got him back in that corner again, whenever Topuria has somebody backed up against the fence, it's over, man. Because if you can't get off the fence, he's just going to corner you there, throw combos until he just lands one of his bombs and gets you out of there. And unfortunately for me, picking Max, that's what Topuria was able to do, was work that pressure and get that knockout. But hell of a knockout from Topuria. And dude, he's I think anybody who was a doubter of him before, they shouldn't be now.
I agree, dude. Still undefeated, too. Undefeated champion. So, real quick, let's answer this. What's next for Ilya? I know you kind of mentioned one name. I think he's boring as shit. I wouldn't mind seeing Diego fight next, but man, dude, I am a huge fan of both fighters. That would be the one, dude, where it would be the week where it's like, dude, I'm not picking this fight, so I don't care if it's for pick champ or whatever. We'll do one fight. I am not picking in that fight, dude. That is just such a tough fight to call, dude, because Diego's so big, dude. That's what I think a lot of people don't understand how big of a guy he is. But I like Diego. You like Mavsar, or do you think someone else next?
So I don't necessarily think that Mavsar is next, but I just mentioned that I think the most interesting matchup against Topuria would be somebody like that, because we've seen the well-balanced strikers and, somebody who could potentially wrestle and people like that with Volk and Max and Josh Emmett and, guys like that have been able to fight him but not beat him. So I was just thinking in terms of what is the most interesting matchup, who has the most set of skills to be able to beat him. I just would think that it would be a one-dimensional guy, kind of like a Mavsar there, that can work his wrestling in. And Topuria really hasn't fought anybody who uses that type of forward pressure. Now Mavsar is going to fight Aljamain Sterling here, I think in December or so. So they'll be able to decide, who could potentially fight for the title next as well. I know Diego waited in his backup. Sometimes the backup almost doesn't mean shit to a certain extent. And if Mavsar does go out there and beat Aljo, it is kind of like, I don't know. I could see Mavsar getting passed up, man, but 9-0 in the UFC. He does have a win over Diego Lopez as well. So, of course, again, he has to beat Aljo. But I do think the most interesting matchup, who has the most chance to beat Topuria, will probably be Mavsar, just based on style.
Fair enough. So let's move on down to the co-main event. I know this one's going to hurt you to talk about too, dude, but I don't want to say I called this one, but dude, this is what I expected Hamzat. This is what everyone has expected Hamzat to do to everyone. And I think people just, I guess, kind of forgot about what he was capable of, but just the entire situation, dude, how big Hamzat was, where he was training, whether he had any experimental supplement help or not, dude. This fight lasted very little, dude, and it went just like all of Hamzat's first fights in the UFC, dude. He pretty much goes out there, takes Robert Whittaker down with ease, dude, and Rob got up and Hamzat took him back down again, got the back, and locked in the rear naked choke that went over Rob's teeth, dude. I don't want to pull the picture up because I would like to not get demonetized, but that shit looks nasty. I guess my only takeaway from this fight, dude, is even though Hamzat did what he wanted with Rob Whittaker, he almost looked a lot more calm doing so. Like, if you looked at how he fought Kevin Holland compared to how he fought Rob Whittaker, it was like he just went after Kevin Holland, sub after sub after sub, as where he like took Rob down, controlled him for a second, like didn't want him to get up, and I don't want to say he didn't chase the sub immediately, dude, but after both fights, seeing Kevin Holland's eyes and seeing Rob Whittaker's eyes, dude, how tight of a squeeze does Hamzat have on him, dude? That he like busts people's blood vessels in their eyes, dude. It's fucking crazy. But yeah, Rob Whittaker, shout out Rob, dude. But he's still at the top of the division. But I know everyone says Sean Strickland's next. I know Sean Strickland says he's next, dude. But dude, he is the matchup right now. What I would rather see, do I want to see Sean Strickland versus Dricus, or do I want to see Hamzat versus Dricus? Like, come on now. Like that's not even a question. Sean Strickland's gonna go in there with the fucking high stepping,
Look like he's in the marching band.
Yeah, so I would love to see Hamzat next, but I don't know if it happens. But anyway, what's your thoughts on the co-main event, and then where does each go from here?
Yeah, I think I remember when he had first came into the UFC and when he had those two fights in like back-to-back weeks. I think I'd even mentioned then when he was going back and forth between 170 and 185 that I was like, dude, I remember messaging you specifically, and I was like, man, this dude would be a scary matchup for Izzy already. And that's when Izzy was kind of like in the middle of being, a dominant champ that he was. I think the biggest thing for Hamzat is just the inactivity. We just haven't seen him in a while, and just of course, the couple of last glimpses that we've seen of him. He comes in missing weight for what was supposed to be kind of like a crowning moment for him against Nate Diaz, for him to really become like a superstar. And he absolutely blew that moment and missed the weight. People were disappointed in him. He ended up having a really close fight with Gilbert Burns, a fight that people thought that Gilbert Burns won. A lot of people did. I thought Hamzat won when the fight was over, but I could understand why people did think that that Gilbert won, because that fight was very close. The Usman fight was very close because after Hamzat had a 10-8 in the first round, one of the judges did rule that a draw. So they did rule Usman and win those last two rounds. Now, two judges did give Hamzat that second round, but he has shown a couple of holes in his game. But if you look at the guys at 185, like a lot of those top guys aren't really the best defensive wrestlers. Like Izzy is to a certain extent, and like Sean Strickland is, but he got taken down by Dricus too. Like, how many of those guys do you see at 185 versus 170? You had Ben Askren, like the Damian Mayas, the Usman, Gilbert Burns, Colby. Like, all these guys are good at wrestling, defensive wrestling, jiu-jitsu. One way or another, they're good at grappling. I don't really see that type of grappling threat at 185 that really is going to be able to stop Hamzat, besides maybe just a potential bulldozer and somebody who's super strong like Dricus can maybe match Hamzat's strength for strength. But man, I just think Hamzat right now just on a different level, just with his grappling. For him to do Rob's teeth like that was just absolutely gross. I know Rob had the abscess injury before coming into the fight and all that. It wasn't coming into the fight, but I know he had surgery on that here recently about getting a plate taken out of his mouth. And it was funny that it was mentioned because all of a sudden, his teeth ended up getting pulled back in his mouth. But man, yeah, Hamzat, I think I would rather see him versus Dricus as well. The bigger problem is, and I don't know all the logistics and stuff and how it goes into it, is if Hamzat is going to be able to come into the U.S. with the restrictions on travel ban and stuff like that, with him having associations with Ramzan Kadyrov and all them apparently. So I would like to see Hamzat fight for the title next, but if he's not going to be able to fight in the U.S., I mean, that is going to be a problem, because if you can't get him in Vegas, and that's where the bread is buttered for the UFC in terms of big fights. So if he can't fight in Vegas, that is going to be an issue. So I'm curious to see if they can get that resolved.
Same. Let's move on to the feature fight of the night. Before you fall asleep, real quick, D-Rose, Ankalaev, Alexander Rakic, dude, this shit sucked as expected, dude. Ankalaev does what Ankalaev does, dude. I expect him to get a dominant decision win, dude. Like, at least shoot for a couple takedowns. But it's like, dude, that first round, I had Alexander Rakic winning that fucking first round, and did Ankalaev win the next two? Yeah, but dude, he is fucking boring as shit, dude. Ankalaev wins via decision. What's your thoughts on this, man?
Huh?
Yeah. All right. So, dude, he doesn't deserve to fight for the title next, no?
Yeah, I don't. At this point, though, for light heavyweight, it's not really. I mean, who else are you going to put in there? And two, I did see a lot of people come away with the take after the fight was this is the dude that Alex Pereira is running from. Like this is the guy that he's supposed to be scared of. So I saw a lot of that coming in too. So and again, Magomed has not been taking anybody down. He said he's going to go in there and strike. He's not really that much of a heavy wrestler anyway. He just always ends up fumbling the situation, or his fights just end up not playing out as well as. It's not to say he doesn't have potential, because he does have some nasty knockouts. When you go back to, of course, Johnny Walker, everybody knocks him out, but that Iwan Kusalava knockout, like I appreciated Ankalaev for a long time for that Kusalava knockout, man. Yeah, that was one I appreciated very much. And the meme that I laugh about every time was that Iwan Kusalava was playing possum in that second fight when it's just bashing his brains in. So I'm not saying that Ankalaev isn't like a capable fighter. It's just that I swear I don't know if he's too much of a thinker, and his fights don't play out as well in actual real time versus in his head. Again, all the talent is there, but yeah, his fights just never end up delivering, sort of like Alexander Rakic. But I think for the title shot, there's nobody else at this point, so I think almost by default he'll get it.
Did you hear after the fight he blamed Rakic? He was like, this guy, he what was the translation? Like he was like a boring fighter, so Ankalaev didn't like know how to like react or some shit. It's like, dude, that's look at the Yuri fight.
Meat kettle.
Yeah.
Kettle.
Yeah, right. Like it's like we thought Ankalaev. I mean, like we thought, like fucking Yuri. We thought Alexander Rakic was probably going to make the Yuri fight boring, but look at that, Yuri. Still made it an exciting fight. Like it's just both those fights are just boring. Ankalaev and Rakic. Move on down. Lerone Murphy, Dan Ige. Yeah, Lerone Murphy got the decision win as expected, dude. It pretty much wasn't even close. Lerone Murphy just got the takedowns, and it just was what it was.
Yeah, in the second, after getting brutally dropped in the first round too. So
yeah,
it was good for him to respond.
Yeah. And then probably one of the highlights of the night here. One of the highlights of the night here was Sharaboot and Magomedov. This one ruined a bunch of my parlays too, dude, because I had Sharaboot 3-or decision in almost all my shit, dude. And he gets the knockout with 8 seconds left in the second round, dude. But it wasn't just any knockout. It was a spinning back fist to another spinning back fist, dude. Like, just dumb. And what's wild is you seen him practicing it, like, because you've seen the little highlight of him practicing it. So it's like, I cannot believe it. It was almost like Armin Petrosian, like, got paid. He was like, hey, when I hit you with this double spinning back fist, just fall down, dude. $2 million in your pocket. Like, Abu Dhabi just wants this one-eyed monster to have a sick UFC highlight knockout. And like Armin Petrosian's like, all right, like $2 million to get, a highlight KO'd on some shit that's cool that really could knock out someone, because at no point was he like out cold or anything like that. It was almost like once he fell, Sharaboot turned around, walked off, and the ref just kind of waved it off. I was just like, what happened there? It was just kind of weird, but Sharaboot, gets the second round knockout, and that's it for the main card. Anything on those last two fights, Lerone Murphy or Sharaboot, Armin Petrosian?
Yeah, dude, an absolute brutal knockout. On the short list of knockout of the year, of course, Max is probably going to end up getting that. But man, that's going to be a close contender there. I mean, and Bullet is starting to. I don't want to say be that guy that everybody kind of hyped him to be coming into the UFC, but But he's starting to get there a little bit. You know, I know I was pretty critical of him, saying that he hasn't been as good as he's been hyped to be. But no, he's starting to really put that talent together. I mean, of course, him calling out Izzy, he's not going to get that fight. But I could see a potential top 15 matchup for him next. I mean, he has been pretty active this year because they've had a couple of the Saudi Arabia and Abu Dhabi cards going on. So he has been pretty active. I think he's gotten 3 fights in this year. And yeah, pretty active.
Already got the next
Fun
one
highlights.
scheduled for like February, I think, too.
Oh wow, no, I didn't even see that. So yeah, that's even awesome. So yeah, the dude's active and yeah, he's getting after it, dude. So yeah, he's slowly but surely. Even if I think I think there's still plenty of doubters out there, but he keeps doing what he's doing and he'll end up winning them over too.
Yeah, I agree. Me, one of them, dude, because I don't think he's that good, and I want to see him fight someone that's going to take him down. But I mean, UFC's doing the right thing. Just match him up with these strikers, dude. Yeah, I guess I didn't mind the Izzy call out. It'd be a fun fight, dude. Maybe I wouldn't mind watching that. You know, I think Izzy would easily beat him, but you know, it'd be a fun fight. And then I also saw in an interview after the fight that Michael Venom Page said he wouldn't mind moving up to fight Sharon Bullet. I'm like, you know, that's a fun fight too, dude. But MVP's brutal. He would attack that right side like ruthlessly because he knew he can't see out of it, dude. But that's just my opinion. What's your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, no, I actually really like that fight. But Michael Venom Page, I mean, he's a tall dude, but he's not really thick. So I could see if he ends up going in there with a guy like Char Bullet, who is he looks like a little bit more of a natural 185er. I could see the potential wrestling getting the Venom Page, because if Ian Gary was able to out wrestle him, I know Char Bullet is the striker, but man, he is from Dagestan. You know, it is kind of like, you know, the Brazilians having the jiu-jitsu in their mitochondria. I mean, you know, them Dagestanis just got that little bit of wrestling in their mitochondria to where he's going to be able to use that against MVP. But in terms of striking, that is pretty fun.
Yeah. All right. So let's run through these prelims real quick. Ibo Aslan gets the first round knockout. I got to be honest, I didn't see any of that. I had to go back and watch the 1 minute of a fight. I was like, oh, all right. Well, you know, that's what happened. But glad that he did get the win there. Jeff Neal gets the round 1 knockout, TKO. But RDA like hurt his knee or his hamstring or some shit. But he did drop RDA. Dropped him once, and then the second time he had a hurt knee, kind of just like fell down. But Jeff Neal gets the first round finish there. This one is the one that fisted my asshole this past weekend, dude. Was Miktabik Orbai versus Matus Rumbetsky, dude. How do you have the last performance you had against Diego Ferreira and then go to war with Miktabik in probably my fight of the night, dude? That shit was bloody as hell. Miktabik's face was swollen up, but he wasn't reacting to anything at all. It's like he wasn't done thawing out when they unthawed him from, you know, the fucking mammoth cave that they pulled him out of. He wasn't all the way thawed out like underneath yet, and he really couldn't feel it. Just this little skin layer on top was kind of bruising up, dude. When the fight was over, I thought Matus had won round 1 and 3, but I was really hoping that we would get this judge's robbery scorecard for Miktabik dub, but we didn't, dude. We didn't. And Matus Rumbetsky does get the decision win there. Sure, it ruined everyone's parlays. Abus Magomedov gets the 3rd round sub, dude. How wild was that? Looks like he's got enough gas. I don't know if he had any extra influence this time, but they were in Abu Dhabi. I don't want to look too much into it. I want to see him fight again, not in one of these, heavily influenced countries. Kennedy and Zachaku, Chris Barnett. The only other fight on the card aside from the Matus Rumbetsky fight that I picked wrong on, and that's because I did pick Chris Barnett to, knock Kennedy out. And, dude, yeah, I would make that bet again. Seeing if this fight got rescheduled, dude, and I knew it was a healthy Chris Barnett, dude, I would make that fucking bet again, dude, because the one kick that he did throw, dude, that shit was like this close from Kennedy's chin, dude. It was like And I was like, dude, if he would have landed that, Kennedy would have been out, dude. It
To
was
be
so-
fair, I'm pretty sure that's what hurt him though.
yeah, it was. It was. That's what he said on like Twitter or some shit. But it looked like at the beginning, he did like, after like one of the D linemen like sacked the quarterbacks, to like get up and they're like, God, and then they're like blow out their ACL. That's what it looked like happened to him. That's literally what it looked like happened to him. So I was kind of worried, but hopefully he recovers. But man, it wouldn't surprise me if UFC let him go. Farid Basharat does get the decision win over Victor Hugo, and that was a fucked up fight, dude. He had a 10-pound weight advantage. Victor Hugo had a 10-pound weight advantage over Farid Basharat, and still kind of looked like ass, dude. Farid Basharat did whatever he wanted in that fight. He did maybe get a few leg locks locked in, but Farid knew what he had to do to get out of them. Ismail Nurdiev does get the decision win over your boy D Rose, dude. I can't believe you were selling cars. You flew to Abu Dhabi, fought Ismail Nurdiev. That's why you look like that in the fucking octagon, dude. You look like shit in the octagon, dude. It's because you were selling Kias all fucking morning, flew to Abu Dhabi, and then had to go back and sell Kias, dude. No wonder. Ismail Nurdiev does get the decision win, and the absolute robbery of the card was Renat Fakhretdinov decision win over Carlos Leal. Carlos Leal clearly pumped up with all the steroids, dude. I don't know if there's a steroid he's not on. I bet we don't see Carlos Leal fight in the UFC again because he failed all of the drug tests, dude. I wish I could bet on that right now because, dude, come on, dude. Like, dude. Yeah, but I thought Carlos Leal won the fight. I'm pretty sure everyone thought Carlos Leal won the fight, but Renat Fakhretdinov does get the decision win, dude. So I guess what are your thoughts on the prelims, my guy?
Yeah, obviously you glossed over most of the good parts there, but I did want to get into that Fakhretdinov because I will tell you I didn't even watch the so I missed the first round, but I watched the second and third round back, and I actually thought that Carlos Leal won both of those rounds. So I was like, okay, if he won these two rounds pretty cleanly, and he won, a lot of people thought he won the first round from what it sounded like, kind of Anik and DC and them were saying, they led me to believe that he won the first. So I was like, okay, yeah, he probably did win the first. I thought he won the last two clean. So yeah, he definitely won the fight.
I remember the live odds closed at like minus 2,400 Carlos Leal.
Dude, I had a bet. Now it wouldn't have hit anyway because I ended up having it was another leg in it. Make the big. That's what it was. Yeah, I had make the big in there. But I ended up cashing out the bet that I had in the third round because I actually still had a cash out. And I was like, man, Renat Fakhretdinov, I was going to lose. I might as well just go ahead and get my cash out now. And I'd be damned, he ended up winning the fight. So that's how much I was convinced that he was going to lose the fight. And like you said, the live odds during the round was like plus 500 or something like that for Renat Fakhretdinov.
Probably 5,000. No, for like plus, probably. It had to be like plus 1,500, dude. Like,
I know there was a point. It was like 4 minutes in the third round left, so it was still like plenty of time. But yeah, it was like Renat Fakhretdinov. It was like plus 500. You could have gotten him with like 4 minutes left in the third round. So yeah, I thought that was crazy. But yeah, you're right. There's not many fights that I could call like a robbery. That 100% was.
Without a doubt. So with that being said, the pick champ is rightfully back over here where it belongs this week. And you see popped up on the bottom of the screen is Eat the Beans. And that's because this past weekend, me and D Rose had 5 different picks. Well, we had 6 different ones, but we throw one of them out so we can have 5. And because it's a pay-per-view, we have 5 different picks. They were Ismail Nurdiev versus Bruno Silva, Abu Smagomedov versus Bruno Ferreira, Ibo Islam versus Rafael, whatever his last name is, Khamzat Chimaev versus Robert Whitaker, and Ilya Topuria versus Max Holloway. And all of your winners were this guy right here, your boy. Clean sweep this week. All 5, I took them home. D Rose picked Bruno Silva Bruno Ferreira, Rafael Kinsekera, whatever this fuck his name is, Robert Whitaker, and Max Holloway. And they all are the losers. And, I felt kind of bad because I was like, damn, I got all the favorites. But no, Ibo Aslan was the dog. Yeah, I don't feel terrible.
By the time the fight by the time the fight took place, Ibo was the underdog. But when we bet, it was like minus 116, minus 106. It was pretty much even.
Yeah. And I may have been, dude, I don't think I've seen many people pick the main and co-main correct this past weekend, dude. I was on both of them correctly though. So, my run at featherweight, dude, continues. I'm just right. I'm just right at featherweight. That's just what it is. So, with that being said, D Rose, the floor is yours, my guy.
We'll see.
The box sounds empty, D Rose.
Nah, I had it on mute. Oh, hey, I got a blue one for my first draw, so I'll take that. I'll take that.
I hope it's blueberry.
Nah, it's toothpaste.
You had to look at the box to figure out what it was?
I forgot the flavor.
You don't know what toothpaste tastes like?
No, I forgot what flavor the blue was, to be honest. But yeah, it's got like it's minty. That's what it reminds me of, like a mint.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what we get here.
Is it green? Is it green?
Oh
yeah, here we go. Don't be juicy pear. Don't be juicy pear. Booger. D-Rose, what you should have saved that blue one for last, man. You just popped it in. Like, you should have been like, all right,
that's why I like to do it one by one. It's an individual surprise.
Nah, dog. Dump them shits out. Grab 3 of them.
Please. Oh,
I had to eat that shit last week, dude. I had to eat that shit last week, man. And I literally
let me say the Lord's Prayer real quick to
Dear Lord, please taste like an old, dirty, rotten booger that's been underneath a school desk for 10 years. Here he goes. Oh, shit, wrong one. I did it on me. He doesn't look happy.
Oh, and I got choked on it. Oh, God. Oh, that one is. That one is the worst. The worst one, dude. If I grab another green one, I'm throwing it back. I'm sorry. Like I'm not. Like I'm not gonna do it again. I will do any other color. I'll do dirty dishwater. I do not want to do booger again. Oh, shit. What is
That's
this?
Marshmallow or stink bug? I can see it from here.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, you're right.
I don't even have to look at the box because I eat them shits enough to know what they fucking are.
All right. Oh gosh. Come on. And it's like I don't know. It's like fucking like bell pepper or like.
Damn, D-Rose is not in a good place. It just reminded him of his good old days. He's like, oh man, I miss it. I didn't have that to worry about.
Man. All right, here we go.
All right, be stink bug. That's a lot of chews. Hope that one's stink bug. That one's gonna be all in your teeth if it is.
No, that's marshmallow. Yeah, that's marshmallow. Okay, nice. I'll take it. I deserve it after that booger, dude.
D-Rose got clean swept and got 2 good beans, or I guess a fucking.
I would say it was technically a bad bean, but hey, it was a good draw, so I'll take that. And dude, I had to eat the booger, so I'm glad I had that marshmallow last though. Good, it is like washing that out. It's like candle wax and vanilla extract. But I'll take that over. I'll take that over that nasty ass booger, dude.
Over bugger. So, with that being said, let's get into our UFC news and fight announcements for this week. So, I clicked the invite. No wonder. Present, share, and
I had to get the heavy drink. I had to get
The
some tea to try and watch it down.
All right, dude. Let's jump into the first one. We have Abdul Razak Al Hassan getting another fight because he didn't get to fight against Josh Frem the other weekend. Not, I don't want to favor him as much in this one. He is fighting Cesar Almeida at UFC 101 January 11th. Dude, sucks he has to wait that long to get another fight after the one falling out against Josh Frem, but should be a fun striking match. What's your thoughts on this one?
This is an awesome fight. I think it should be a banger for maybe as long as it lasts, but Cesar Almeida should definitely have the upper hand here. Obviously the better kickboxer overall. He might, Abdul Razak Hassan might have more power, but I think Cesar Almeida is going to have the size advantage as well. He had pretty good wrestling defense against Roman Kapilov for the most part. Really made it hairy there for Roman Kapilov there in the third round. So, I think Cesar Almeida should be able to get the dub here.
All right, we'll move on to the next one. That is Drew Close taking on Joel Alvarez. It's going to be UFC Tampa, December 14th, so not too far away, dude, but I know I said I was gonna, stop hating on Drakkar Close so much, but man, this is one where I have to fade him one last time against Joel Alvarez, dude. What's your thoughts on this one, dude?
And I've faded Joel Alvarez a couple times, and I said after that Elvis Brenner fight, I'm like, man, that's the last time I want to fade him, and gosh, another good wrestler that he ends up facing that I think could potentially give him an issue. So it's funny that we kind of think the same but opposite on here because I mean you can clearly see the talent's there for Elvis Brenner, for Joel Alvarez. The talent's clearly there.
He's just so big, dude.
Yeah, and for him to make 155 like that, like I remember him going against Elvis Brenner in the last fight, and I was like, dude, he's a bully. Like, how the hell is he making 155? Like,
how did
that's
this middleweight get in here to fight this lightweight?
Yeah, dude, it's absolutely crazy. But yeah, that should be a good fight.
Yeah, I'll be excited for that one. That one's December 14th. Moving on, we've got Ikram Aliskerov taking on Andre Muniz. Looks like they're trying to get Ikram back on a win here, matching him up against someone that has absolutely no striking threat, I guess. That's UFC Saudi Arabia, February 1st, dude. What's your thoughts on that one?
I don't know, man. I think who would I favor going into this fight? I mean, I would favor Ikram, but I mean, I think in terms of striking, I mean, I know Andre Muniz did use his wrestling for the most part against Jung Young Park in his last fight. But he threw some nasty body kicks. He had some pretty good boxing for the most part. So he did display a well-rounded game. Because I thought Jung Young Park was going to win. So I do think this is a tougher matchup for Ikram than I think what you're giving him credit for.
Fair. Okay, move on to the next one. That is Jermaine Durandamy versus Jacqueline Cavalcanti, added to UFC 101. So how this worked, D-Rose, was Jacqueline took a fight against, I forgot who it was, short notice. It was because GDR pulled out of that fight, but that's who she took the fight against like a few fucking weeks ago, and then now they get fucking matched up. So who took the spot for GDR, and GDR now fights January 11th. I know she's one of your favorite fighters, dude. You brought up the famous news that she was pregnant one time on the podcast, one of the early podcast episodes. So, what's your thoughts on this one?
That was a monumental moment there when we were able to get that. But yeah, no, I think this is a pretty solid fight. I I can't quite remember. I don't know why. Cavalcanti, like I can't remember her last fight off the top of my head. But yeah, GDR.
I just
I
now
wouldn't
watched the viewers go from 10 to 4 when we started talking about this fight.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. And yeah, I'll end it with saying good fight.
All right, just to recap for this past weekend, Renat Fakhrinov gets the robbery decision. Ismail Nurdayev gets the decision win. Farad gets the decision win. Kennedy gets the knockout injury win over Chris Barnett. Abbas gets the third round submission. This bullshit that fisted my asshole this past weekend. Matus Rombeski via split decision. Jeff Neal, first round TKO, knee injury for RDA. Ibo Aslan, first round knockout. Shara Bullet with the double spinning back fist, second round knockout. Lerone Murphy with a unanimous decision, 29-28 across the board. Ankalaev, 29-28 across the board. And then Kamzat, round one sub. And I'm sorry you guys have to see that again. We'll move on to the next one. We've got Sean, the Sniper Woodson, taking on Fernando Padilla, UFC Tampa, December 14th. For those of you who don't know, Sean Woodson's born ready. What's your thoughts on this one, dude? Fun fight.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say. That's a fun fight. Both good boxers. Both good strikers for the most part. Both tall guys for the division. So I think it's a matchup. I don't want to say Spider-Man mean to a certain extent. But yeah, that's a really good fight.
Yeah, I agree. Fun one here, dude. We got Sergey Pavlovich taking on Jairzinho Biggie Boy Rosenstruck. That's going to be UFC Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, February 1st. Thoughts on that one? I think Biggie Boy is going to take a big nap.
Dude, I don't know. I was going to say I have been very critical of.
Fucking Pavlovich looked scared against fucking Volkov in his last fight.
Well, and here's the thing, and Pavlovich, I picked against Pavlovich in his last few fights. I picked Curtis Blades against him. Obviously Tom Aspinall. I think most people did that besides you. I picked Volkov as well. I bet on Volkov. I was very confident in that fight. I do think Pavlovich is a dangerous fighter, but man, if you can get outside that first minute or two, like he's got like mostly hooks for the most part. Like he does not, and that of course from across the octagon uppercut that he lands, that one's absolutely nasty. But if he can't land those types of punches, man, you can control the distance. Man, he does have a hard time kind of closing that range. If you stand in the pocket and trade with him, Tai Tuivasa, Derek Lewis, Curtis Blades, you learn. But yeah, I think Jairzinho has a chance in that fight.
Fair enough, man. You'll be split February 1st. Dude.
Dude, I swear this is no lie. When you was talking about who was you talking about on the sauce earlier? Was it Carlos Leal or
Carlos Leal?
Somebody? Yeah, I think it was Carlos Leal. You was talking about him being on the stuff over there in Abu Dhabi. I was thinking in my head of making the joke like, oh yeah, some dude brought a bag of potatoes over there to the thing, and then all of a sudden, Ottoman Zaitar appears here. Like it's just the thought process is crazy. I had that joke in my mind, and he ends up coming up. It's crazy.
Wild. Yeah, dude. I expect Michael Johnson to be winning every second of this fight until he gets hit with that overhand.
Same.
All right. And then here we go. I expect Johnny Walker to be winning every single part of this fight until he gets a hit. Dude,
you're going to hear bonk, bonk,
dude,
bonk.
And fucking think about it. We just watched him get fucking knocked out like a couple weeks ago, and he's got a fight lined up for January 18th. How many times is he going to get knocked out in the lead up between now and January 18th to then get knocked out by the Russian Anthony Smith? Yeah, dude, just rough.
Yeah, it's been rough, and it's probably going to get worse because Bogdan is a heavy puncher, and he holds no prisoners, man. So yeah, that's a dangerous fight.
I'm just thinking, like, how is Johnny Walker going to get knocked out this time? It's so fucked up. But I'm like, what cartoonish way is he going to get knocked out this time, dude?
Like bonk, bonk. Like I swear I have like the cartoon effect of like bonk, bonk. Like I just have that like every time he gets hit, it's just like bonk, bonk.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know. Johnny Walker's going to get knocked out again, though. Here we go, dude. Charlie Campbell is out. That's upsetting, dude. That was going to be a banger fight against Mauricio Hufi. But Mauricio Hufi will now fight James Yontop. That's the dude with the Uzi tattoo on his face. That'll be UFC 309, November 16th. Yeah, fun fight. Got to go Mauricio Hufi just because he's the much better polished striker. Looks like a young Conor McGregor, but Brazilian and at the Fighting Nerds. What's your thoughts on this fight, man?
Yeah, I'm with you there with Hoofy. I had to pick him to win, but Yontop, he's definitely game. He's tough as hell. You know, it's hard to hurt him. And dude.
I mean, you get FFC tattooed on your neck, like you're gonna be there forever. Like that's not your goal to be in the UFC, and then you get a fucking Uzi tattooed on your face, dude. I mean, he doesn't.
Nah,
make
you're
the
about
best
it.
life choices.
Nah, but that's just me for this fight game. He's about it. That James Yontop's about it. So I think that should be a fun fight.
Dude, why don't he have a UFC? Dude, what if he gets UFC tattooed across his forehead?
What if he just makes the F and turns it into a U? So he just adds on to it and just makes it a U instead of an F.
I don't know. Hey, we've got another one here. Carol Rosa taking on Aileen Perez. That's going to be UFC 311, January 18th. Dude, that's going to be a banger, dude. Carol Rosa is in the makings for every dogfight in the women's division for the most part. And dude, she's going to test Aileen Perez's hands, dude, because Carol Rosa is hard to take down, man. I'm interested to see when they size up because if Aileen's got a pretty big size advantage, I think Aileen's just gonna pick her up and just kind of toss her down still. But I'll be excited for this fight when it happens. I know a lot of WMMA haters out there, but hey, I'm a fan of this.
That should definitely be a good fight. We know, obviously they're gonna be watching for one reason, but Carol Rosa, absolute dog, man. All her fights are dog fights. So even if someone's not capable of making it a dog fight, she will make it a dog fight, man. She gets dirty in there, so she normally delivers for every fight.
I think she might be the partner of Denise Gomes. They do training partner in the bedroom and out of the bedroom. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
And the last one that we have is Zachary Reese taking on Cedric West SD or the Reaper Dumas, dude. What's your thoughts on this one, dude? Because I guess I'm not too high on Zachary Reese after his last fight, kind of shit in the bed, told all his friends to bet on him to go to decision and win. And then Cedric West Dumas, I just don't think he's the best fighter to begin with either, Hood Wolf tattooed across him. So don't know what that is. But with that being said, what's your thoughts on Cedric West Dumas taking on Zachary Reese on January 18th?
I'm with you.
This should be first fight of the night, right?
Let's hope so. Yeah, let's hope so. But yeah, I'm with you in terms of Zach Reese not being too hyped up on him as well. I didn't know that you said that he told his friends to bet on him by decision. That's
what it seemed like because he should have crushed Alex Reyes in his last fight, but somehow he wins via decision. His friends ate good. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, that's I couldn't tell. I was like, wait, what in the world? I was like, dude, do we have another Jeff Molina incident on our hands? What are we doing here? But yeah, no. I normally say good fight. Yeah, I don't really care.
All right. So we usually have just the MMA. What is this? MMA news alerts for the news, but I wanted to come over here to MMA Orbit because I saw a few things that could be interesting. I wanted to get your thoughts and opinions on those real quick. Am I sharing? Yeah, I am sharing. Yeah, cool. All right. So we saw that. This is who's going to fight for the title next. Oh, yeah. This was one that I know you sent me. Let's go over a few cuts. Robelis to Spain. Cut. Matthias Nicolau. Cut. Jesse Butler. Cut. Tamiris. Ow, you punched my titty. Vidal. Cut. Harlampos Gregorio. Cut. D Rose. We were so excited about this guy when he came in the UFC, but on the Contender Series, he knocked out Shannon Ross. So.
And now we realize why he had a nasty knockout on the Contender Series, because he fought Shannon Ross.
Dude, and the wild part is he didn't knock him out until the third round.
Yeah. It was a nasty knockout, though. It was a nasty knockout.
Vicente Salvador, cut. And Daniel Pineda, I don't want to say cut because Daniel Pineda retired a couple weeks ago. So those are all the people cut from the UFC. And where is it at? I saw this one right here, D Rose. Camp started. I also saw that
I saw where
Jamal Hill said he started camp as well. So I would love to see Jamal Hill versus Yuri. I know Jamal Hill has been calling for Yuri for a while. I would love to see that fight happen. You think that fight happens?
Yeah, I definitely that's what I was going to mention. That's what I had saw. That Jamal Hill had posted something about being in camp, and I think Yuri had like dropped a comment on his page or something like that. I guess, maybe kind of mentioning that, hey, we're going to get ready to fight one another. So that would be a fun fight. And that was kind of the fight that we had wanted initially before Alex Pereira just came in and kind of just broke everybody over his back, or broke everybody over his knee. But yeah. Yeah, that would be an awesome fight if they're able to make it happen. Like I said, Jamal Hill's been called for a while, and I think it should deliver.
All right. So with that being said, let's get into what everyone's here for, probably for the most part. Or UFC Fight Night, Alberta. I think it's Alberta. It is Brandon Moreno versus Amir Albazi. Our picks and our preview for all of that good shit. We've got 14 fights to go over, so please excuse us. Maybe we kind of step on the gas through some of these because I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I'm not done with all of my fight research this week. I've gotten through, I say the first, but I usually start at the main card, do a little bit of research, what I don't know through the main card, and then I work my way down. So the first, what fights on here do I don't really know. I could speak on Jack Shore, but Jamie Lynn Horth, Ivana Petrovich, no idea. Chad Anaheliger, Cody Gibson, no idea. This one, no idea. I got to Romanov earlier. So these three down here, Jamie Lynn Horth, Ivana Petrovich, Chad Anaheliger, Cody Gibson, and Surrey City versus Garrett Armfield. That's just going to be my best fucking guess, to be honest. But with that being said, we do have 14 fights to go over. The fights are taking place in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Get off my screen. So with that being said, this weekend, Saturday, November 2nd, dude, I'm about to be 32 next Saturday. That's fucking crazy. Anyway, I know half y'all
You're
think
old.
I'm 40. I know half y'all think I'm 40 out there. Got a few comments to ask me if I was close to 50. No, I'm not. I'll be 32. Next week.
Nah, they bullshitting with the 50. They 40 maybe, but
maybe, dude.
Yeah,
Who
50
knows?
they bullshit.
Who knows?
Nah.
Anyway, so where are we at? This Saturday, November 2nd, 5 p.m. is when the prelims start at the Endeavor Center, or no, it's not the Endeavor Center, the Rogers Place in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. As I said, we have 14 fights to go over, headlined by the Assassin Baby, Brandon Moreno, and the Prince, Amir Albazi. We've got Thug, Rose Namajunas, taking on cold-blooded Aaron Blanchfield in the co-main event. We've got the Black Beast, Derek Lewis taking on Jonta Janice in the featured fight of the night. We've got Caio Machado taking on Brendan Haberio. Hey! We've got Mark Andre Powerbar Barrio taking on Dustin Stoltzfus. We've got proper Mike Malott taking on Officer Trevin Giles. We've got Eamon Zahabi taking on the young Punisher Pedro Munoz. But we should start a petition. How can we still call him the young Punisher when he's 37, 38 years old? Like,
nah, he's just the Punisher. And at this point, he's not even punishing people. You know, he was finishing people at least back in the day. Like, he ain't even Punisher, maybe the punished, but that's about it.
Anyway, we've got dude. She used to be the queen of violence, Ariane Lipsky, but now she's Ariane Dos Santos, I believe, and she's like the queen.
I think it's De Silva.
Like, yeah, De Silva. I don't know, but
yeah, De Silva.
Yeah, she's married now, and didn't look great in her last fight. Looks like she's talking a lot about Jesus and stuff now. So maybe she's not trying to be out there hurting people. She's taking on Jazz Devicious. We've got Charles Air Jourdain taking on Victor Henry. Is this his first fight down at bantamweight?
Charles Jourdain, yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. I could have swore he had a different fight lined up, and then now it's Victor Henry. So I didn't know if it was going to be 135 or not. I have something in my mouth. Anyway, we've got Alexander King Kong Romanov taking on Rodrigo Nascimento. We've got Surrey City taking on Garrett Armfield. Chad and Helliger taking on Cody Gibson. Jamie Lynn Horth taking on Ivana Petrovic. And Jack Tank Shore taking on the Moroccan Devil Yusuf Zalal. And that is where we'll start between Jack Tank Shore and Yusuf Zalal. Jack Shore is 17-2. Yusuf Zalal 15-5-1. Been out of the UFC, back in the UFC now, but looking good now that he is back in the UFC. Currently, odds for this fight are, where are we at? Jack Shore plus 215, Yusuf Zalal minus 290. Jack Shore, 29 years old, 5'8", 71-inch reach. Yusuf Zalal, 28 years old, 5'10", 72-inch reach. I'm not stepping in front of Yusuf Zalal. He has looked fantastic since he is back in the UFC. And honestly, Jack Shore looks better down at 135. I don't think the 145 move for him was good. I know he had trouble making 135, but dude, he just looks kind of fat up at 145, I'm going to be honest. And Yusuf Zalal shredded and, an absolute monster. So I will be going, let's go Yusuf Zalal 3 or decision, but maybe even Yusuf Zalal 3rd round sub. Which way you going here, D-Rose?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Yusuf Zalal was to get a finish. Maybe even I could see a submission, maybe even a ground and pound as well. Yeah, I think Jack Shore, as you said, the move up to 145 has not been, good for him. He got beat up real bad by Joe Anderson Brito, and Yusuf Zalal is a pretty big dude at featherweight as well. Jack Shore is just not that big of a guy at featherweight, man, and I just think the size advantage is going to be a big thing. I think Yusuf Zalal is going to have his way in the wrestling. Let's go Yusuf Zalal here.
Fair enough. Me and D-Rose both on Yusuf Zalal. We got Antoine in here. Yo, what's up, boys? Sorry, I'm like, well, you were in here before anyone was this morning, Antoine. And Antoine was like early stream this morning because I'm an idiot and I scheduled it for this morning instead. Dave said, hey, no way, 15. They fucking before we dig into this card, how y'all feel about it? I think there's a lot of fights on the card. Who do y'all pick, Trigas versus Kamsat? I would have to go Kamsat, but I don't know if that fight happens next just because Sean Strickland, thinks he's going to get the next fight. So me and D-Rose both on Yusuf Zalal. We'll move on to the next one. Jamie Lynn Horth taking on Ivana Petrovic. Currently, odds for this fight, minus 215, Jamie Lynn Horth, plus 164, Ivana Petrovic. Jamie Lynn Horth is 6-1 overall, 34 years old, 5'7", and a 66-inch reach, while Ivana Petrovic is 7-1 overall, 30 years old, 5'8", and a 79-inch reach. I'm going the Canadian here in Canada. She's big, she's strong, but it's mostly because I haven't researched this fight at all, and I don't really know who Ivana Petrovic is. I at least know who Jamie Lynn Horth is. So, give me Jamie Lynn Horth to win this fight. Being the bigger, stronger, girl win via decision. Which way are you going here, D-Rose?
I actually, looking back on Ivana Petrovic's fights, I actually remember her because she fought Luana Carolina, and I'm pretty sure I actually picked her, and she lost that fight, and I'm pretty sure it was against, like, that was one of like the pick champ picks because you had picked Luana Carolina, and that fight was absolutely awful. Awful. Like, Ivana Petrovic had nothing. Like, no wrestling, no striking. Like she didn't have anything. I remember she just kind of watched Luana Carolina the whole time. So just because I remember she burned me for that. Again, I'm not super familiar with Jamie Lynn Horth either, but her only loss is Veronica Hardy, as we see, she's looked good as of late. So let's go Jamie Lynn Horth here.
All right, me and D-Rose both on Jamie Lynn Horth, the Canadian. We'll move on to the next one. Chad, the Monster, and Helliger taking on Cody, the Renegade Gibson. Chad and Helliger, 13-7 overall, 37 years old, 5'6" and a 64-inch reach. He is currently the underdog at plus 162. Cody Gibson, 20-10 overall, 37 years old, 5'10" and a 71-inch reach, and is currently a minus 210 favorite. And yeah, I think now that I look, like, this is one of the fights that I haven't researched at all. I know Chad and Helliger, though, he hasn't had a good run in the UFC, and mostly just because I think he's kind of small, and he looks like he's strong, but I don't think he fight. Like, it's almost like he has muscles, but he's not really that strong. He goes for the takedowns and such, but going up against Cody Gibson, I know how Cody Gibson fights. This is his second time in the UFC now. Been just now won the Ultimate Fighter, I believe. And a dog, dude, gonna walk forward and fights a lot like Austin Hubbard, dude. We saw Austin Hubbard fight Andrew Hernandez a few weeks ago. Yeah. Alex, dude, I call him Andrew Hernandez. I call him Anthony Hernandez. It's Alex Hernandez. Yeah, dude. Austin Hubbard and Cody Gibson basically fight the same way, and Chad and Helliger is probably a less good version of Alex Hernandez. So I'm thinking this fight kind of looks basically the same way, but instead of the Alex Hernandez side getting the dub there, give me Cody Gibson to win this fight via decision. D-Rose, which way are you going here?
I think I think Jack and Helliger, he can use his wrestling. He did use it against Gregorio in his last fight, but Cody Gibson, I think he's got good good defensive wrestling, and he was able to use that against Brian Kelleher pretty well in his last fight as well, and was able to really put the pressure there on Kelleher with the wrestling and with his he had some pretty decent boxing too. He had good jab. Good leg kicks as well. So I think Cody Gibson can really push that pace against Chad and Helliger, and kind of take him to where it's going to be a pace and cardio type of fight. And I think that's where Cody Gibson can really take advantage. So give me Cody Gibson by decision.
Same. I did put in a $1 12 leg parlay, and this fight is in it, and I did pick Cody Gibson to win. So me and D-Rose both on Cody Gibson. Our next one is Surrey City taking on Garrett Armfield. This is another one that I have a lean, but I haven't really done fight research on, but I know how Surrey City fights. I've seen him fight a few times now, the Contender Series and in the UFC, kind of against the same guy, but not the type of fighter that Garrett Armfield is. And man, Garrett Armfield he's an okay fighter, but I feel like I've seen him in interviews and stuff, D-Rose, and he seems like a very emotional guy. Like, he seems like he's very easily butthurt. Like, if you say the wrong thing to him, like, he's going to just be an asshole the rest of the interview, kind of things like that. You get, like, almost like he doesn't like that side of it. And I understand, you're a fighter. You don't have to like the promotion side, but if you want to get paid, if you want fans, if you want to get pushed by the UFC, you have to get people's attention, and he's just a really boring guy, I'm going to be honest. So let's get into this fight. Surrey City 10-2 overall, 28 years old, 5'11" and a 72-inch reach, while Garrett Armfield 10-4 overall, 28 years old, 5'6" and a 70-inch reach. Currently, odds for this fight are Chad Anheliger, I'm sorry, Surrey City minus 162, your favorite. Garrett Armfield plus 126, your dog. Yeah, I've seen Surrey City. He has really good striking, dude. He's able to keep fights at distance, and he has just enough power. He can hurt you. He can knock you down. I don't know if he's going to knock you out, but Garrett Armfield, I just don't think he's, I don't know. Nothing wows me about him, dude. He's an okay wrestler, but yeah, he's not doing anything that's going to ever get him in the top 10, 15, anything around that nature. So, yeah, give me the relatively new UFC newcomer here, Surrey City. Out kickbox, stuff the takedowns of Garrett Armfield. Give me Surrey City to win this fight via decision.
Yeah, so I think this is a really good fight. Both guys really good strikers. Or I don't want to say both guys really good strikers. Surrey City's a good striker. Garrett Armfield has good boxing. He's a good wrestle boxer type of fighter. Surrey City, he's a pretty well-rounded striker. Good with the kicks, of course. Boxing. He's good in the clinch as well. For Surrey City in his last fight against Tavares, though, I do think that he had just made I don't know if it was just I guess there in the third round he had kind of like, I don't know if he took his foot off the gas or whatever, but I think he kind of left the back door open there for Tavares. He could have gotten tired there, but I know Tavares was really able to kind of push and set that pace. And you look at Garrett Armfield in his last fight against Heastan. Heastan, we know how much of a savage he is. Just in terms of how much he's going to use that cardio and wrestling against you until you just tap. Garrett Armfield did have multiple times in that fight where he had hurt Brady Heastan, and I thought there could have been times where they could have stopped that fight. I thought Garrett Armfield actually looked really good, even coming in on even losing that fight. I thought he looked really well. So I think good boxing, good wrestling. I think Surrey City, he made a few bad decisions in that last fight, man, and Garrett Armfield gets into the ground. I really like his chances here. So give me Garrett Armfield. I like the dog.
All right, me and D-Rose split for the first time of the night. There's a chance this will be an in the pick champ, but who knows? Who knows? So me and D-Rose split. I'm on Surrey City. D-Rose is on Garrett Armfield. So we'll move on to the next fight. Oh, goodness gracious.
Your boy.
What I say last time he fought, D-Rose? What I message you?
You said he's my favorite.
I said,
love.
He's so bad. He's so
You're
bad.
like, I love King Kong.
Dude,
King Kong.
I was a fan of him when he first got in the UFC, dude. He was crushing dudes. I feel like this is the dude he choked off. He choked out of the had the forearm choke like already, but who was that? Pezao?
Yeah, I think
like
so.
He choked out with the forearm choke. But
Yeah.
it's like the same guy. Anyway, here we go. Alexander King Kong Romanov, 17-3 overall, dude. He's only lost 3 times all in the UFC. 33 years old, 6'2", 75-inch reach. Might miss weight depending on how he looks at weigh-ins. He's going to be taking on Rodrigo Nascimento. 31 years old, 6'2", and an 80-inch reach. So he's going to have a big reach advantage over Romanov here. Currently, odds for this fight, minus 102 for Alexander Romanov, minus 125 for Rodrigo Nascimento. D-Rose, I think I'm going to pass this one to you first, my guy. Feel free. Take it away.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. This was tough for me to call because I have notoriously faded Alexander Romanov. Again,
Yeah.
You was like, hey, if you hear me before you see me, I got King Kong. And nah. Oh man. No, I do. I think this fight's really tough. Again, I've faded Romanov for a long time, but I thought the Volkov matchup was a bad matchup for him. I'm pretty sure I picked Blagoy to win that fight, even though Blagoy has terrible takedown defense. I'm pretty sure I still picked Blagoy, even knowing that.
But just because you thought he was going to gas, I don't know if D-Rose is there still. You're there still, D-Rose, or are you frozen? I don't know. D-Rose might be done for. Unless he's thinking real hard, then he's frozen. Let's see. Oh, he's for sure frozen. Maybe I need to text him. Let him know he's frozen. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you're back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what happened there. So I have an adapter down here, but I don't have it plugged in. But for some reason, my Chromebook ended up picking up the connection on that and tried to connect me over to an adapter that's not even plugged in. I don't know why my Chromebook did that, but
okay. Yeah, I didn't hear. I was like this, like this. What you were like, and then I was like, I think you're like, yeah, you're like, this is a hard fight to pick.
No.
You think I'm frozen?
No. I was like, you better not. I was like, no way.
Yeah. Which
that
way
was
going
good.
here, man?
That was good. Give me oh my gosh. Give me Romanov. I think I just think Nascimento, man, he's got some talent, sure. But honestly, even for him being at heavyweight, like he at least from what I've seen in the UFC, he's just not like a dangerous fighter. Like I just hadn't seen like him. I haven't seen him be a knockout threat. I haven't seen him really be a submission threat. I mean, I know he came in off the Contender Series. He had a submission win against Dontel Mays, but that's not really saying too much. So and Derek Lewis was able to take Nascimento down. I think Alexander Romanov should be able to do that. Am I betting it? Nope. But yeah, give me Romanov here.
I agree with pretty much everything you said, D-Rose. Down to the it's not that I'm just picking Romanov because he's better. Because Romanov, dude, he's got a round of gas and unless he's able to take you down and just kind of lay on you. But that being said, I think he's able to take down Rodrigo and just lay on him. So could he get him out of there? Probably. Could he win this fight via decision? I think so. And I think a sneaky play for this fight might be Romanov via decision, dude. As crazy as it sounds.
I think so too.
Yeah, it's not available yet, but FanDuel is on top of their props this week because they do have a lot of them available. I was checking them out earlier. Me and D-Rose both on Alexander King Kong Romanov. So we'll move on to the next fight. We got Charles Ayer Jourdain taking on La Mangosta Victor Henry. Charles Ayer Jourdain, 15-8-1 overall, 28 years old, 5'9" and a 69-inch reach. This will be his first fight down at 135 pounds, aka bantamweight in the UFC. Going to be taking on Victor Henry La Mangosta, 24-6 overall, 37 years old, 5'7" and a 68-inch reach. Currently odds for this fight, minus 128 for Charles Jourdain, plus 100 for Victor Henry. D-Rose, Victor Henry, I think we've said this multiple times now. I think his best performance ever was in his first fight in the UFC against, who was it? Hani Barcelos?
Yeah, your guy.
Yeah, I think that might have been his best fight ever because since then, dude, he has just not looked good at all. And we know the type of fighter Charles Jourdain is. He's fun, exciting, high-flying, and that was up at 145. He's going to have a size advantage down at a lot of dudes down at bantamweight, dude. I'm excited for the debut of Charles Jourdain down at 135, dude. Give me Charles Jourdain to win this fight via electrifying decision, dude. It's going to be a fun match. He's going to beat the shit out of Victor Henry. At least I think so. Give me Charles Johnson. I mean, Charles Energy Johnson. Give me Charles Air Jourdain to win this fight via decision.
Got Charles Johnson on the brain there.
Charles Johnson, baby. Energy, baby.
Got that mullet, the skullet. It's got you mesmerized there. That's funny. But man, I'm not gonna lie. I will actually say that I'm kind of having trouble picking this fight.
Hold on, like real quick. The odds, like I did want to say, I personally feel like they should be a lot farther apart, but I think odds makers are just kind of like, we need to see Charles Jourdain down at 135 first, because if it's the same Charles Jourdain that's up at 145, dude, I could see Charles Jourdain being minus 220, minus 250, but minus 128, it seems like good value.
Yeah, I will say that too. The only thing I will say that kind of concerns me is that when Charles Jourdain up at 145 fought Nathaniel Wood, who was more of a natural 135er, Charles Jourdain was getting taken down by Nathaniel Wood and kind of being controlled. Now, one thing Charles Jourdain does, he's content with being on his back, so he'll throw up submissions, he'll throw elbows, but he sometimes doesn't have a necessary sense of urgency trying to get up. So I think that can sometimes bite him in the butt, and that's where I think Victor Henry can take advantage and win this fight if he does use his wrestling. But I don't know if Victor Henry can really chain it together that way. So I still think Charles Jourdain, better striker overall, more well-balanced. So give me Charles Jourdain by this.
All right. Me and D-Rose both on Charles Air Jourdain. We'll move on to the next one. We got the queen. I don't think she's the queen of violence anymore, D-Rose. What is she? She just might be the queen, Ariane Da Silva. They had it updated last time, but now it's back to. I know that's not what it is
because they know that we know her as Ariane Lipsky or Ariane Lipsky.
Yeah, but yeah, she's no longer violent, dude. She didn't look violent in her last fight. She looked like she was just wanted to go in there and spread love. Didn't look good. Anyway. Ariane Lipsky, 17-9 overall, 30 years old, 5'6" and a 67-inch reach. While Jazz Devicious, 11-3 overall, 35 years old, 5'7" and a 68-inch reach. Currently odds for this fight plus 164 for Ariane Lipsky, minus 215 for Jazz Devicious. I love me some female dogs, D-Rose. I can smell a female dog barking. Few miles away, few days away, I can smell it. There's a female dog going to be barking, but
them bitches be barking.
I smell something, but it ain't this fight, D-Rose. I don't think Ariane Lipsky has the pop to keep Jazz Devicious off her. I think Jazz Devicious is going to be the bigger girl, going to be the more physical girl, going to be able to kind of bully Ariane Lipsky. And we're in Canada, baby. Jasmine's good, dude. I kind of hated on her a little bit, dude, but looking back, this is one of the fights that I kind of got to do a little bit of research on. And, dude, watching back, Tracy Cortez versus Jazz, dude, that shit was fucking close, man. And that one could have went Jazz's way, dude. I think Jasmine's a really good fighter, and I think she wins this fight easily. Control, decision, Jazz Devicious. Which way are you going here, D-Rose?
Yeah, I think the thing with Jazz Devicious is, Fatima Silva. Now Jazz Devicious is fighting Silva. So, if I call her opponent Silva, the last name this time around, I will get it right this time to say that she's fighting Silva instead of Fatima Klein. But in that Fatima Klein fight, I know people gave her a hard time after that fight and kind of booed her, but she took the fight against Fatima Klein on short notice, who Fatima Klein, is a pretty, I guess, she had a lot of hype coming into the UFC. I know she took it on short notice, but the fans are kind of giving her crap about that. But Jazz Devicious, she has only lost to really good fighters, to Natalia Silva, even in her in CFFC on the regional scene, she lost to Elise Reed by a split decision. and she lost to Tracy Cortez. So as you said, that fight could have very easily went Jasmine Jasudavicius's way. I thought Jasmine Jasudavicius put a little pressure on later in that fight. I just thought she kind of put the pressure on a little bit too late because Tracy Cortez had really good takedown defense. We know
that was
Ariane
Noche
Lipski,
though, and wait, hold on, that wasn't Noche, was it? I know I was in the
Yeah, it was Noche.
arena watching that one though.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was Noche. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm looking at it. Yeah, so and I do remember Jazz is kind of getting back into the fight late, but it was like a little bit, basically too little, too late. But I think she has the wrestling. I think Arnold Lipski, she sits on her back a little bit too much. It doesn't have the sense of urgency to get up. I think Jazz can control the fight and the wrestling, and I think get a decision win.
All right, me and D-Rose once again on the same fighter, Jasmine Jasudavicius. We'll move on up to the featured prelim of the night. Amin Zahabi taking on the young Punisher, Pedro Munoz. So, Amin Zahabi is 11-2 overall, 36 years old, 5'8" and a 68-inch reach, or 68.5-inch reach. Pedro Munoz, the young Punisher, if you will, 20-9 overall, 38 years old, 5'6" and a 65-inch reach. Currently, odds for this fight are Amin Zahabi minus 118. Pedro Munoz minus 108, so damn near even, dude. This one's tough for me, dude, because when do we say, okay, Pedro's washed now? He's 38, he's done. But dude, it's like even you go back to the Cheeto fight. What was that fucking last year, dude? Like, they were throwing and neither one of them went down, dude. It's just like Pedro's chin is still rock solid and he's still right there pretty much the whole time. Is he going to win every moment of the fight? Not really, but against the fighter like Kyler Phillips, that was just styling on him, he was still there for the most part, just getting beat up. But Kyler Phillips, really fast, a lot crazy kicks, all that good shit. Amin Zahabi is a kickboxer himself, but more of a long-rangey kickboxer, very, very low volume, like the opposite of Kyler Phillips. And fights just seem to get away from Amin Zahabi for the most part. And it's kind of what I think happens here this weekend. I think like the Pedro Munoz just stays in his face, lands harder, and does more damage. Give me Pedro Munoz to win this fight via decision. D-Rose, which way are you going here?
Man, I'm surprised. I will say that because I know you're not the biggest Pedro Munoz fan, but I will say, as you said, Pedro Munoz, rock solid chin. He's always had pretty good power. He might not be the best complete boxer in terms of combos, but he's got a mean overhand right. He's got a nasty guillotine. He's got a lot of skills, man. He's got a lot of finishing ability, which is why he earned that nickname Young Punisher early in his career, because that dude was finishing everybody that he beat, and has not been finished yet in his career to this point. So very well-rounded fighter, also while having an iron chin. So kudos to him. I will say for Amin Zahabi, as you said, he's kind of like that rangy kickboxer type, but he uses his hands more. I will say that he's more effective when he uses just his boxing because, he might not display it every time, but man, he's actually got pretty good power in his hands. He does have a couple pretty nasty knockout wins in the UFC. And I think I don't know if he's going to be able to necessarily knock out Pedro Munoz. Pedro Munoz got a lot of scar tissue, man. Even though he doesn't get hurt, he's got a lot of scar tissue. So I think once Amin Zahabi starts landing those power shots, I think you're going to see a lot of eyebrows and the corner of the eyes bleeding from Pedro Munoz, as he's going to keep wiping that blood off his face and he's going to keep moving forward. But yeah, I think Amin Zahabi is going to be able to land the bigger shots, more damaging. I think he'll be able to keep it on the feet here because I see Pedro Munoz trying to take it to the ground. But I think Amin Zahabi wins a 3-round decision here.
All right, fair enough. Me and D-Rose split on this one. Second fight of the night, we're split on. D-Rose on Amin Zahabi. I am on the young Punisher, Pedro Munoz. Let's move on to the main card, finally. If y'all haven't already, please do us a favor. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. We're here breaking down 14 fights at 10 o'clock on a Wednesday night. We both got to work tomorrow. with that being said, let's get into it. Mike Malott, and then Antoine, we'll get to your question as we're talking about this fight. We got proper Mike Malott, 10-2-1 overall. 32 years old, 6'1" and a 73-inch reach, while Officer Trevin Giles, or the problem Trevin Giles, is 16-6 overall. 32 years old, 6 foot, and a 74-inch reach. Currently, odds for this fight -280, Mike Malott, and +210 for Trevin Giles, Officer Trevin Giles, or the problem Trevin Giles. This is one where, dude, this is a tough one for me to call personally, because, dude, we know Trevin Giles is a good fighter, dude. Unless you crack his chin, dude, there's a chance you're gonna be losing that fight every moment of it. Mike Malott starts out hot as fuck, but does he have the gas tank to go 3 rounds? You know, you look at his Neil Magny fight, you say, hell no, he does not have the gas tank to go 3 rounds. You look at his losses overall, though. I mean, 10 wins, 2 losses. One's to Neil Magny in his last fight. And then, I mean, he lost a long time ago to Mean Hakeem Dawa, dude, down at 145. You know, it's
still funny to say.
It's weird to say, because in the UFC, I bag on fucking Mean Hakeem for, you know, having no finishing ability at all. You know, it's like, and he knocked out Mike Malott. You're like, what the fuck happened there? Like, it's like, you know,
and it was in the first round too, so you can't say, "Oh yeah, he gassed later in the fight." No, he got slept in the first round. Like it's still hilarious.
And then you look at the record of Trevin Giles. This dude's beat Roman Dolidze, like Ryan Spann. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, this is the craziest fight. It's hard to call, dude. And I think I'm gonna end up going with the dog here, dude. I like me some Officer Trevin Giles, and I think he's a good enough fighter to be winning every minute of this fight. If he can stay safe and not get clipped, I think Trevin Giles wins this fight. I'm gonna throw this prop at you, 3 or decision, just in case Mike Malott does gas there. So, also with Mike Malott, do you guys think he can still climb the rankings and make top 5? I personally do not think so. I'll let D Rose answer that when he makes his pick and such. But for me, I personally don't think so. Dave's saying I have this film another car the Canadians lose. It could. But I am going Officer Trevin Giles via decision. How about you, D Rose?
Yeah, man. It's this is actually a really good fight. I think it's a well-matched fight. I think it's kind of the proper matchmaking for Mike Malott. Proper, no pun intended. No pun intended there, but proper matchmaking for Mike Malott here. Because I think, as you said, Trevin Giles is a good enough test. He's got good boxing, good defensive wrestling for the most part. He's got pretty good offensive wrestling himself. And if he gets in the pocket with you, he can throw heavy hands. He's if he gets you in the clinch backed up against the fence, he's got nasty knees and elbows
and a pair of handcuffs, and he'll arrest you.
Yeah, and probably they're probably a firearm, a nightstick. He gonna whoop your ass. Let's just say that. But no, Trevin Giles, he's definitely got it all in terms of just the sheer ability. But and you're right, Mike Malott, dude, that gas tank. I can't imagine how many bets Neil Magny busted when he ended up beating Mike Malott the way he did. Because, dude, I remember, like, I had a bet on Mike Malott. I'm pretty sure it was, like, round 3 or decision. So I was like, oh, yeah, I feel good about Mike Malott. And then all of a sudden, like, he's trying his best to wrestle. But then he just ends up just laying down on the ground. And I'm like, dude, it's just a matter of freaking time. And then all of a sudden, he ends up getting pounded out for the loss. So I know Mike Malott killed a lot of people. The biggest thing for Trevin Giles, man, I want to pick him, but he's a little too chinny, man. Just a little too chinny. So he does get hit. Mike Malott does have good punching power, and he's good at countering as well. And I think that's where Trevin Giles, he can kind of, walk in with his hands down a little bit and get caught with big punches. I think Mike Malott actually ends up knocking out Trevin Giles. I think it ends up being a fun fight, but like you said, Carlos Prates did the same thing. Trevin Giles looked really good. until he got caught. Same thing with Dricus. The same thing with Michael Morales. And I think the same thing with Mike Malott here. So let's go Mike Malott by knockout.
We have a proper pick champ this weekend, D Rose. We got 3 fights at least now. So D Rose is on proper Mike Malott. Give me Officer the Problem, Trevin Giles.
Yeah. And do I think he makes the top 5? No. I think he's a good fighter, but yeah, I think welterweights with those guys up there like Ian Gary and Jack Della Maddalena and Shavkat and all those guys. Yeah, I don't think Mike Malott makes it at this point.
All right, we'll move on to the next one. Marc-Andre Powerbar Barrio taking on Dustin Stoltzfus. Powerbar, Marc-Andre Barrio, 16-8 overall, 34 years old, 6'1" and a 74-inch reach, while Dustin Stoltzfus, 15-6 overall, 32 years old, 6 foot and a 75-inch reach. Currently, odds for this fight -205 for Marc-Andre Barrio and +158 for Dustin Stoltzfus. Yeah, this is one where I just think Marc-Andre Barrio's got a better gas tank, dude. He's going to have a little bit of a size advantage, and he likes to strike or be in control grappling. And Marc-Andre Barrio's a tough guy to get down, and dude, he himself likes some cage control, some grappling. Not really taking you down, but he likes to, put the pace on you, outlast you, use his gas tank, dude. And I've seen Dustin Stoltzfus gas. Yeah, dude. I'm trying to not just be a Dustin Stoltzfus hater here, dude, but I just think Marc-Andre Barrio's just a better fighter, more UFC seasoned, if you will, beat better guys than what I think Dustin Stoltzfus has beaten. So, yeah, give me Marc-Andre Barrio. Give me Marc-Andre Barrio here to win this fight, 3 or decision, just in case Dustin Stoltzfus gasses. Which way are you going here, D-Rose?
Yeah, I mean, I think this could be a pretty good. I think it actually ended up being a pretty good fight for the most part. And I know they say Dustin Stoltzfus does have a striking background, but to me, I felt like I've seen a little bit more of his wrestling. He did try to use it a little bit.
He's good at jiu-jitsu, no?
Yeah, I would say it's hard telling. It's hard telling, but yeah, I know he used that grappling pretty well against Bruno Ferreira there in that first round until Bruno Ferreira just landed those just devastating spinning elbows. It was like Dustin Stoltzfus, his face was a magnet for Bruno Ferreira's elbow. Like it was just like woom wapong, like just absolutely brutal. Man, I think Marc-Andre Barrio, I think he's got a little bit of everything. He can wrestle, he can strike. As you said, he loves doing that clinch control against the fence and just really getting in some nice body work and elbows there in the clinch. Really kind of controlling the position with that nasty kind of head crank clinch. I think he's going to work in takedowns. I think there's a chance that he can even end up finishing Dustin Stoltzfus. So yeah, I like Marc-Andre Barrio here, and I like him big.
All right, me and D-Rose both on Marc-Andre Powerbar Barrio. We'll move on to, I believe this is the featured fight of the night, where we have Caio Machado. We haven't seen him in a little bit. Not since he fought who? Ihor? I think it's the last time we saw him.
No, it's your boy Dontel Mays. Yeah.
Oh, who am I getting this guy confused with? Who am I getting this guy confused with?
This is his light heavyweight debut, though.
Who did Ihor fight and like kind of box up a little bit?
Man, the worst part is I almost said Rabeski, but it was something. His last name was something like that, though.
It was a Brazilian dude. Oh, Rodolfo Balado. Kind of look exactly the same, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that dude. I thought you were talking about who Pateria beat, but I know you're talking about now.
Yeah, like, because it was a good fight because he was like beating the shit out of him and he fucking flipped it back around. But yeah, Caio Machado. Yeah, this is one I haven't. I think they flipped around the fights a little bit because I don't think I looked up this one. But I know Brandon Haberio ain't that good of a fighter. His brother's not that good of a fighter, and neither is he. But let's get into it. We have a Brazilian showdown here, D-Rose. Caio Bigfoot Machado, 8-3-1 overall. Brennison Hilario, 15-7 overall. Bigfoot Caio Machado, 30 years old, 6'4", 78-inch reach, while Brennison, the Gorilla Hilario, is 28 years old, 6'3", and an 81-inch reach. Fights just like his brother, too. Currently odds for this fight are Caio Machado, minus 178, your favorite, and Brennison Hilario, plus 138, your underdog. Yeah, I got Caio Machado here. I got Caio Machado probably round 1 knockout, dude. Especially if he's going down from heavyweight to light heavyweight here, dude. Dude, Brennison Hilario is, as I said, just like his brother. He's explosive, dude, but not durable at all. And I feel like he gets hit one time and he is gonna go down for the most part. This might go into the second round. So with that being said, give me Caio Machado round 2 knockout. Which way are you going here, D Rose?
Yeah. For me, I think this fight could potentially be, if Caio Machado makes this the fight that I think he wants it to be, I think it could be a little bit of a sludge. And as you said, Brennison Hilario, he basically fights just like his brother does. Very reckless for the most part. Now we'll give them credit for, willing to go out there on their shield and stuff like that, but definitely gets hit a lot and doesn't show the best fight IQ, if I'm being honest. So again, not saying I wholeheartedly believe in Caio Machado. I'm definitely not betting this, but I will say Caio Machado, I think he ends up using a little bit more wrestling though to try to get it done here. And I think it can maybe even go to a decision as well. I believe Hilario went to a decision in his last fight against Gadzhi Sulov. So I think Caio Machado could potentially take it there as well with the wrestling. Let's go Caio Machado here by decision.
All right, me and D-Rose both on Caio Bigfoot Machado. Featured fight of the night. That was not the feature fight. This is the feature fight of the night. The Black Beast, Derek Lewis, taking on Jonathan Janice. I don't know why it's Janice when there's a D there, but that's how they say it. The Black Beast, Derek Lewis, 28-12 overall. 39 years old, 6'3", and a 79-inch reach. Jonathan Janice, 33 years old, 6'4", and a 79.5-inch reach. Currently odds for this fight, Derek Lewis plus 136, the underdog, and Jonathan Janice minus 174, the favorite. D-Rose, I am going to pass this one to you, my guy. And when I do that, you know what that means. USA in this hoe.
So I definitely think this is a fun fight. I mean, you could arguably make this the main event, but I'm sure Derek Lewis, he said it multiple times, and I'm sure he probably means it. He is tired of fighting 5-round fights. He's like, damn that, I do not want 5-round fights. But I will say, a lot of times when you don't get him in a 5-round fight, he is a little more explosive. He can be a little bit more selective when he can be more explosive because, if he's got a 5-round fight, he's got to worry about taking it on into the 4th or 5th round versus if he knows he's only got 3 rounds to go. Look at the Volkov fight.
Another whole fight.
No, seriously. And that's a lot, especially at heavyweight. And Jonathan Janice, I do think he is a good fighter, a good striker. But man, I actually wouldn't be surprised because Austin Lane did have some wrestling success against Jonathan Janice. Let's not forget D1 Derek Lewis, the All-American himself, is working with some great wrestling himself. He even, again, I mentioned earlier that he took Rodrigo Nascimento down in that last fight when he was doing some clinch control against the fence. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some Derek Lewis takedowns and it's not going to be the prettiest. But if he gets Jonathan Janice down and all of a sudden you see those big old lunch boxes from Derek Lewis raining down, I mean, dude, that dude has some of the nastiest ground and pound you will see in the sport. He's absolutely brutal when he has an opponent down and he can rain down some shots on them. And I think you might see that from Derek Lewis here. Kind of maybe a ground and pound TKO against the fence. Let's go Derek Lewis here.
We are all in agreement, and I love to hear it, D-Rose. USA in this hoe. We're going to see one of these. D-Rose going to get, the Black Beast. I said D Rose gonna get that. We're gonna get one of these. Black Beast gonna get down and then hit him with right in front of Jonathan Janice's face. He just woke up from a knockout and he sees Derek Lewis right in front of him. Dude, wow. I agree with you fully, D Rose. I think we can see a D Rose. I keep calling him D Rose.
Yeah, you are saying this move.
I think we could see a Derek Lewis, like, has the underhook, maybe steps behind, kind of trips Janata Denise, like the one that didn't work, the one that he tried. But I think it might work against Janata Denise because Janata Denise is a kickboxer. How often is he facing, heavyweights trying to take him down as powerful as Derek Lewis is? So I think Derek Lewis gets him down. And as you said, if he gets a guy down on the ground, but also up against the cage, dude, that ground and pound that he just fucking delivers, dude. I've seen him knock multiple guys out doing so. So give me Derek Lewis. Give me Derek Lewis round 2 knockout. I like it.
I think if there's a comparison I can make, I think it could look very similar to what Francis Ngannou did in his last fight.
Fair.
Take down up against the fence, ground and pound. I could very well see that.
Fair. I don't hate it. Let's go. Black Beast. Hook 'em horns, USA in his home. All right. Moving on to the co-main event of the evening. We've got none other than Thug Rose Namajunas taking on cold-blooded Aaron Blanchfield. Thug Rose Namajunas, 13-6 overall, 32 years old, 5'5" and a 65-inch reach. Cold-blooded Aaron Blanchfield, 12-2 overall, 25 years old, 5'4" and a 68-inch reach. Currently, odds for this fight: cold-blooded Aaron Blanchfield minus 140. Your favorite Thug Rose Namajunas plus 110. Your underdog. Yeah, D Rose, I'm gonna pass this one over to you, my guy. I feel like you already know which way I'm going here, but I'm gonna let you give your opinion on it, my guy, Mr. Aaron Blanchfield, #1 fan.
Yeah, you caught me here. You caught me. Man, honestly, I will say this fight is really hard for me to call, and the fight's kind of gone under the radar, man. Like I felt like nobody really talked about this fight. And Rose has almost just kind of went from being a former champion to, I mean, most former champs, we're pretty knowledgeable about when their next fight is coming up and stuff like that, to like Rose is just another piece on the chessboard, dude. Like, her fights are announced, they happen, somebody farts, the wind blows it by, and that's it. Like we don't it's almost like she's just kind of fallen into being a cog in the machine instead of her being her own independent star that we know Rose to be, but I mean it maybe it works better.
That did it, dude.
Yeah, and what it,
fuck Rose.
What it made, it really did set a lot of people sour for the most part. I will say that, but man, I mean, she's obviously still got some ability. I think the biggest part about me picking this fight is that I think both fighters just fought somebody who, like, I think you can make very similar comparisons to Manafiro and Rose. And I think you can make very similar comparisons to Tracy Cortez and Aaron Blanchfield. Like, I think, Aaron Blanchfield might not have as good at boxing, but she's going to try to wrestle. She's going to try to get it to the ground. She's going to try to work in the clinch. And Rose, I think it just has really good footwork, man, and good counterboxing. I think for Aaron Blanchfield, her best way to win is to work that forward pressure. And if someone's going to stand there and strike with her, like Andrade did, she can have effective striking. But when Aaron Blanchfield is kind of chasing and going for the striking, as Manafiro was able to show, it's really hard for Manafiro or for Aaron Blanchfield to land some effective striking in order to work her way inside and try to get the takedown. I think Rose has really good footwork, man, and she's really jumped right back into a flyweight and looked really good doing it. Man, I'm not gonna lie, I definitely got I got Rose here, man, and for her she's the underdog right now. I'm super surprised because I think if I'm being quite honest, I think this fight goes damn near exactly how the Manafiro and Aaron Blanchfield fight went as well. I think Blanchfield might have some success early, but I think Rose basically wins maybe 2 through 5.
Do you think I'm going to say anything different about this fight, or this is what I've been said about Aaron Blanchfield all the time?
Yes, we know you. We know you have not been a believer for sure.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. I think Aaron Blanchfield. If you look at anybody else in the division, I would pick her against most other people. But yeah, I just think I think that's a bad matchup. And we saw her just fight a similar style wrestling matchup in her last fight.
Here's my thing, dude. It's like she's young, dude. She's like fucking been in the UFC a while now, and I don't know if I've seen her improve at all. Like it's almost like she has her thing, and then that's all she does, dude. It's like her striking has looked like shit. It still looks like shit. Like as you said, if you're not standing right in front of her, dude, she can't walk you down. Her takedowns are absolutely atrocious, dude. She just runs at you and tries to grab a hold of you and fall down. And if that doesn't work, dude, then not much, dude. The most impressive takedown I've seen her get was against Andrade up against the fence. But out in the open, dude, I don't think she has a chance, dude. Her wrestling's not good enough. Her footwork, as you said, not even close to as good as Rose's is. I don't understand how in the world Rose is an underdog, dude. I truly don't.
As you said, the Crawler fight.
I see Rose just in and out, dude. In and out, 1-2, back out. In 1-2-3, back out. Like Rose always does, dude. And I think it looks a lot like the Tracy Cortez fight, except for Rose wins the third round as well, because I don't think Aaron wins any round of this fight outside of Rose literally slipping and falling down, and Aaron just be like, "Oh my God, here's my chance." Belly flop. Like I don't think this Aaron has a chance here. So to Aaron Blanchfield's #1 fan, he agrees that Rose going to win this fight. So me and D Rose both on Thug Rose Namajunas here. I guess I can take this one off since you didn't pick Rose this week. Yeah.
Well, I did pick Rose. Yeah,
I mean, since you didn't pick Aaron this week.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Tough matchup, man. Tough matchup.
Yeah. So main event time. If y'all haven't already, please do us a favor. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. We've got the Assassin Baby, Brandon Moreno, taking on the Prince, Amir Albazi. The Assassin Baby, Brandon Moreno, is 30 years old, 5'7", and a 70-inch reach. Amir Albazi, the Prince, 31 years old, 5'5", and a 68-inch reach. Currently, odds for this fight, -172 for Brandon Moreno and +134 for Amir Albazi. Yeah, this is one, D Rose, where I really want to see the face-off, because I see 2-inch size difference here. But if I see like Moreno is like nose and up taller than him, I'll be a lot more confident. Because right now, dude, I think Amir Albazi could probably take down Moreno and control him at least most rounds. Especially, dude, I'm an Assassin Baby fan. I am a huge Brandon Moreno fan. But dude, I don't know what the fuck that last fight was. Like he was just like he changed gyms or some shit. And he just looked like shit, dude. Like fucking Brandon Royval was styling on him. And I was like, what's going on, Moreno? Throw a punch. Do something. And he just kind of flat-footed. He has taken some time off, so I hope he comes back refreshed, revived. I don't really like a side here. I do on FanDuel. The props are already open. And for this fight to start round 3, I think that's a solid end of your parlay piece at -430. I think this fight starts around 3, but gun to my head, give me Brandon Moreno to win this fight via decision. What about you, D Rose?
Yeah, I think this is another one of those fights, man. It's super tough to call. You know, I could really call it for both fighters, and The biggest thing, Amir Albazi, he's had a lot of time off. I know he's had some injuries and stuff. I think he had like a neck injury that they said he was recovering from. So
Yeah, dude,
I
like he's
don't know.
almost paralyzed or some shit.
Yeah, that's why I didn't know the full extent of the injury, but I did hear where he had the neck injury itself, and that's what's basically kept him on the sideline for the last year and a half, almost 2 years now. Brandon Moreno, he fought, as you said, Royval earlier in the year. Now, when he said after that fight that he had wanted some time off, but I mean, man, what has it been? 6 months since his last fight? I mean, for me, I think, mentally, when he says he wants to take a break, is that really a break? Not even a full year, because I mean, I guess you have to take into consideration, probably about a month and a half to 2 was going to be dedicated to fight camp and stuff like that. So even 6 months in between, let's say really off on the job, probably 4 months. Is that really enough time for him to kind of reset and get kind of refocused? Because we know the ability Brandon Moreno has, great wrestler, good submission. We don't think about him being a finisher, but man, he's got great finishing ability. I mean, he finished Kai France, he finished and I know Royval, but yeah, he finished Figgy too. Yeah, I know the Royval was a shoulder thing, but yeah, Moreno's got some nasty finishes, man. So
Kai France with a body kick, dude.
Yeah, he nailed Kyle with that body kick, dude. It was absolutely nasty. So he's definitely got finishing ability and can get it done. But also sometimes, as we saw in the Pantoja fight, he can get a little bit wrestled and controlled. And as you said in that Royval fight, Royval kind of styled on him a little bit, man. And I think you can see a little bit more of a refreshed and rejuvenated Amir Albazi. Man, I like the dog money on Amir Albazi, man. I'm not going to lie. I chose Kai France in that last fight, and I still think Kai France won that fight. But honestly, me, it's just fading Moreno, because after taking that fight against Brandon Royval, saying he needed the time off and not really necessarily getting a break and kind of getting thrown right back in there. He's broke his hand a few times in the last few fights. Is he really there mentally? I just don't know, man. And I think Amir Albazi is definitely going to be a tough matchup. And as you said, I wouldn't be surprised if Amir Albazi uses a lot of wrestling to steal some rounds and get a decision win. So I like the dog money in Albazi.
All right. Four picks, Theros. I thought we were only going to have 3, and we weren't going to have to pick any of them, but we do have 4 different fights this week for the pick champ. So D-Rose's chance to win back the gold and me to be eating beans here next week. So final picks for the card. Me and D-Rose are on all the same picks altogether, except for Surrey City versus Garrett Armfield, Pedro Munoz versus Eamon Zahabi, Officer Trevin Giles versus Proper Mike Malott, and the Assassin Baby Brandon Moreno versus Amir Albazi. So D-Rose, which fight of the 4 would you like to toss out?
Let's toss off that Garrett Armfield and Surrey City one. I'm just I'm not confident about that one at all. So yeah, let's take that one off.
All right. So for the pick champ and Bean Boozled this upcoming week, 3 different fights are Pedro Munoz versus Eamon Zahabi, where I have Pedro Munoz. D-Rose has Eamon Zahabi. Second fight is Officer Trevin Giles versus Mike Malott, where I have the big dog in Officer Trevin Giles. D-Rose is on Proper Mike Malott. That's a favorite. And the final one is the Assassin Baby Brandon Moreno versus Amir Albazi, where I'm on the Assassin Baby Brandon Moreno, and D-Rose is on the dog and Amir Albazi. Yeah, D-Rose. Fun fights. We have one that's basically even. We have one that I got a big dog on, and one that's, I got a favorite, but about 150. Not really too big. Not really too big. So we got a even one, a one that's far apart, and one that's about even. Are you confident that you win the pick champ back this week?
Man, I'm not gonna lie, not really. Man, it's been a shaky last few weeks, and like I said, getting clean swept last week. I'm a little gun shy right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. If Brandon gets the win, who does he fight next? Moreno versus KKF3. Now, Kai needs to fight for the title. That's my thought.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, man, I'd like to see the win first, because again, Moreno just doesn't. I don't know. I think you can maybe make the KKF 3 fight without, but I mean, at the same time, isn't Moreno up 2-0 in the series? So, I don't know if I need to see it again per se, but I mean, maybe Royval. I don't know. The chances could be unlimited, but let's go. Let's say Royval.
All right. So, with that being said, that's it for the show. We gave you the recap from this past weekend. D Rose got clean sweep, so he ate 3 beans. We gave you the news and fight announcements. We gave you our picks and preview for this upcoming weekend's fights. I don't know what else you want for us. I looked at my FanDuel Fanatics. I think I need a week off. Or downer, and it happens, Dave. It happens, Dave. But hey,
same.
Guess what? It only takes one to bring it all back, brother. It only takes one heater to get it all back.
Yep. One streak, baby. We gonna get it.
Yeah, we gonna get it. Dude, I don't know how this past weekend. The 11 of 13 on my fight picks, 0-1 bets. Doesn't make sense, dude. Like,
that's the fight game, man.
Just upsetting. But with that being said, that's going to be it for the show. My name is Matt. D Rose is on that side of your screen. We appreciate all y'all for stopping by, hanging out with us here tonight. Give us your thoughts and comments on who you think's going to win down in the comment section. All that good shit. Hit a thumbs up button for you boys. If you're not subscribed here, hit that subscribe button. We're here every single week giving you our thoughts and opinions on these UFC fights. So with that being said, D Rose, anything before we get out of here, my guy?
No, man. Just a good pod today, and yeah, we definitely going to try to come back swinging, but man, I don't know, man. We'll update y'all boys next week.
Not a good thought process, Dave. Yeah. With that being said, we will catch you guys next week. I hope you guys enjoy the fights this weekend. If you're betting on the fights this weekend, don't bet more than you can afford to lose, because at the end of the day, it's a fist fight and anything can happen, or you might get fisted in your asshole like I did this past weekend by Victor Bicor with no lube. So that might happen to you as well. So just be careful out there. Be safe, y'all. With that being said, me and D Rose are going to get out of here. And yeah, you can catch me Friday right here for Change of Cheddar. With that being said, my name is Matt. D Rose is on that side of the screen. And we will catch you guys next week. Peace.